As we said, I'm here right now with Dr. Clint Dickinson of Dickinson Chiropractic in Castle Rock, Colorado. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Great. And we're going to be talking about high blood pressure. Not that I'm excited about it, but it's going to be very interesting because it appears we have an epidemic. What are the numbers on that?
74.5 million adult Americans.
Unbelievable.
1 in 3 over 20 have high blood pressure.
Wow. So what I always hear is salt. Salt is causing the blood pressure. Cut down on your salt, and of course they want to give you drugs. Not good. We're all trying to get away from that. So what are the studies that you've shown? What causes high blood pressure? I keep hearing salt, but that's all I really hear.
Well, we know some of the causes of high blood pressure can be a mineral deficiency, or there can be a disruption of the neurological centers that would actually control the blood pressure.
Really? I can understand that, but mineral deficiency, how's that?
So the mineral deficiency is our muscles need minerals to work properly.
Right.
Right? For a message to go from the brain down the nerves, there actually has to be sodium present for that message to go down the nerve out to the muscle. And then once the muscle contracts, it has to have magnesium present in order for the muscle to relax. Otherwise, it'll stay in contraction. You get muscle spasms.
Because when I was in school years ago, they always wanted us to take salt because we were depleting it. But so what do you mean by salt, and where are we going to get these minerals from? That's a good question.
So, okay, to clear it up, you were given tablets of salt,
right.
Sodium chloride, refined iodized table salt.
Refined. Processed.
Right, processed. If you look at it, it's sodium and chloride.
Okay.
98% sodium chloride. If you get like a nice unrefined sea salt, like Celtic sea salt, it's like 60% sodium chloride, and then the rest of that percentage is full of calcium salts, potassium salts, magnesium salts, sulfur salts, and they're all in concert the way Mother Nature intended them to be. Like the Celtic product, which I love, is just salt that forms on the ocean in northwestern France, forms on the ocean, they rake it off, let it dry right there by the sun and the wind, put it in a bag and sell it.
Natural.
100%.
No processing. I love it. We hear a lot about this. We talk about it on our show at different times about getting the sea salt. But same reasons. It's all natural.
Right.
And
So it tastes great. It taste-wise, it's a smooth, clean taste.
yeah, I'm using it. It does taste different, and my children like it too. So how is chiropractic going to help us then? Because you're talking about subluxation on, where would that
Look
be?
at those. So neurologically, the centers that control blood pressure is called the vasomotor center in our brainstem.
Okay.
All right. So it's on us. This can be centered or localized right up through here.
Right.
We know anatomically the brainstem can go from C1 to C4, different on different people. But like we have here, we have a model of C1 and C2.
Okay.
C1 is nicknamed Atlas because, as you can see right here, is where the head would sit.
Okay.
So this C1 holds up our head just like Atlas would hold up the world in Greek mythology. C2 is nicknamed Axis because that's the pivot point that we turn our heads on.
Wow. Interesting. That's it. That's that simple. But the information is going all through the spine. We've been talking about this for a while. Everything goes through the spinal column. That's why it's so important to see a chiropractor.
Yeah,
so you're saying an adjustment, I wonder.
Could make a difference in blood pressure?
Interesting.
You bet it could. There's actually a study done in 2006 on it.
Okay.
Kelly.
More information on that study then, because that's going to be some good information.
The University of Chicago Hypertension Center did a study with 50 people. It's a very small study. They're actually in the process of doing a larger one right now. 50 people, 25 they adjusted, 25 they didn't adjust, but they chose an adjusting technique that you actually can't feel. So there was no placebo effect with it. Everyone that was in the study was deemed pre-hypertensive. So they're at the point in their life that they have hypertension or high blood pressure, and their doctor says you have a little bit of time to control this with diet and exercise, or we're going to start medications. They went into this study. They didn't know if they're getting adjusted or not. They all received the exact same procedures, just some got adjusted, some didn't.
Okay.
Of the 25 that got adjusted, get this, all of their blood pressures went down.
That's great.
On average, 12 numbers on top, 8 on bottom. And actually, in the medical world, they would need 2 medications to achieve the exact same results. Wow. With the chiropractic study, there was absolutely no side effects whatsoever. And get this, they received one adjustment, and it lasted 8 weeks.
Again, back to being natural. I mean, this is all natural. Adjust the spine. All the information is going through here. I mean, it just makes sense. That was an actor. He had an injury. Christopher Reeves. So there was no brain damage. Now I remember this. And is that what the problem was?
He fractured his C1, C2 vertebrae. He severed his spinal cord at this level.
That's so important.
So that vasomotor center that we're talking about was right there is what he completely injured, and what he lost his ability to regulate his own heart rate, to breathe on his own. You know, he had to have a diaphragmatic phrenic nerve stimulator. He had all sorts of health issues that you'd associate with brain function or brain damage, and it was his spinal cord, upper cervical area that he actually injured.
That is fascinating. Just a small, I mean, it looks small, but I mean, it's so important to everything we're talking about here.
And to give you an idea of the kind of the stress that this goes under, this would be the same size as a man like your size would have in your body. Okay. So your head's going to sit right there. Let's do a little demonstration to show you.
Let's do that. Right? Show me.
So the average human head weighs between 10 and 14 pounds.
Right, I've heard that.
So we know, and we've learned from earlier segments, that forward head posture is extremely detrimental to your health.
Yeah, like this.
Right?
Driving down the road.
Right.
I always see people sitting like this, you know.
Pull up to the stop sign.
So I look over, I got to adjust, make sure I'm sitting right.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. Well, typically, as our health degenerates, we'll do that naturally over the course of our life.
Which is not healthy.
Not at all.
Okay.
Let's have you stand up.
Sure.
So for the demonstration, you'll start by holding your head right up next to your chest.
All right. I have a heavy head.
Now that demonstrates good biomechanics, the way it should be.
I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this for a while.
Demonstrate forward head posture when there's an alteration of those biomechanics. So we're going to bring your head out in front. Now,
I can do this for a little while.
Where do you notice that?
I notice it, well, in my shoulders, but I also notice it in my lower back.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah, that would be very uncomfortable after a while.
So do you think that messages going through here on that spinal cord could be affected by that pressure?
I do believe. I believe.
100%.
Wow, that is interesting.
We know that
just that small amount.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight to carry.
For every and X-ray would be the definitive to tell you if you had forward head posture or not. For every inch that your head moves forward, you add about another extra 10 to 15 pounds of weight onto your head.
Really? That would hurt after a while.
You get tired. You get fatigued.
So that's going to affect everything. And we're still talking about this. Everything, go to your chiropractor. Get everything checked. It's all natural. We'll get away from the chemicals. Go whole foods.
Yes. Well, you talk about getting checked. I mean, how many people do you know go to the doctor for their normal routine checkup and they go, oh, you got high blood pressure. They got no other symptoms whatsoever. No pain, no neck pain, no headaches, nothing like that.
So they take a drug.
Right. But they've got the underlying problem of that atlas subluxation underlying all of that stuff.
Because drugs, all they do is mask the symptoms. We talk about it all the time. We do. Let's go back to being natural. Let's go back to doing everything whole foods. Well, we're here. We were talking about this high blood pressure, and I want to thank you, Dr. Clint. This is great. I have a friend of mine with high blood pressure. I'm going to get the information to him as well. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. And we're going to see you again, I'm sure.
Yes, I hope so.
It's going to be great.